We got Brandon Shuff and John Morra. This is, they're down to the final four here. They're playing a race to 8. This is 10,000 at it 10 ball from California Billiard Club in Mountain View, California. It's going to be a great match. I know Brandon, I think, is sponsored by Houseland USA and Q Sport International. John Morra is sponsored by CPA Pool League. Both of these young players are just fantastic, you know. It's been a tough field, tough conditions, so it's a little humid in here, and the table's actually playing tougher than I've seen it play for the past 5 days. This should be a very interesting match. John breaks dry and Brandon straight in. She's hanging in the side. When it comes to QB custom cues, they make an excellent looking cue. I mean, Scott's cue looks great. It hits pretty nice too. Scott has said it's hit better than the Cognoscente he played with, because that's what he switched over from. And he's also had Bobby Hunter. He's had, you know, he's had his fair share of cues, and he said it's the best one that he's had so far. And inside the table, and he's that was a really tough shot he was trying to execute there on this table, you know. Got his cue ball where he wanted, and it was just a tough shot to make. You're welcome. Not sure what you sent me a private message about, but all I seen was a private message with somebody's address. I don't know what that's for. Brandon's at the table, and he's got a nice shot on the 3, and he can slide down to the 4 here. Yeah, I was not at my computer. Sorry. But Brandon's in a pretty good position here. How's it going, Ken?
It's going great, Lenny.
It's been a pretty good event.
I think it's been a terrific event. What a great quality field in both divisions we had. And I'd like to just also express on behalf of everybody here our appreciation for you being here and doing all this great streaming all week, Lenny. We really appreciate it. And also to everybody out there in OTR land that's been watching. So thanks for being with us, everybody.
Yeah, I love being here. You know, I was here last year, and it was a great event. And this year, same thing. You know, and I'm glad you're the tournament director here. You're doing a fantastic job. You know, you've really. I mean, the players really respect you, and that's important. You know, that's one thing I realized. You know, you're firm but fair, and that's what's needed. You know.
Thank you very much for saying that, and that's kind of exactly what I always hoped people would say, that I am firm but fair, and it's been very important to me all the years of doing this to earn their respect, and it doesn't come easy, but if you treat everybody properly, you shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah, that's true.
And it makes a difference, just like with what you do. I love what I do.
Yeah.
And it's almost not work, you know.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just blessed to be part of this industry and be able to be around this kind of talent. You know?
Yeah. Because I mean, when did you get started in the game?
As a player, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've been playing over 50 years.
Wow.
But I got into the officiating about 30 years ago.
How'd that come about?
I started actually, I was doing some local stuff in the pool rooms, just helping out here and there. And then in the early 80s, I started going to the Reno Opens. You know, I live outside of Sacramento. I'd go to the Reno Opens a couple of times a year, and I kind of knew the people that were running it, but just on a, you know, they're the directors and I'm a player basis.
Yeah.
So after a year or two of going up there, I realized, you know, you play a match and then you got to wait like a day or something to play again. And I'm not a big casino guy or anything, and I was frankly bored. So I went up to, you know, with Scott Smith at the time, and, you know, people like that, and I said, look, can I help you out, do anything? I don't want any pay. I just want something to do. Call
busy.
a shot. I'll get you a sandwich or this or that.
Whatever.
So it just kind of started that way, and sure, you can help us out. And then next year, okay, why don't you help us out, and we'll pay for your hotel room. And then the next year, well, we'll just put you on the staff, you know. And one thing led to another, and by the late 80s, early 90s, I was kind of, you know, part of the team. And then as, you know, you get some exposure with different people, you network a little bit, and get a call here and there, and one thing led to another. And, but I had a full-time job. I worked for the government for almost 30 years, and I'd always take my vacations to go to pool tournaments. So I was just fortunate enough to, when I finally retired from the government, to be in the right place at the right time and meet a few people. And
that's pretty cool.
One door opened and it led to the next.
Yeah.
But one thing is, rules always appealed to me. When I worked for the government, I was actually a policy expert, you know, with standard operating procedures, and I was kind of the go-to guy when people wanted to know how we do this or what's the eligibility situation for this and that. And I was always fascinated by rules and regulations.
Yeah.
So it had my interest. So I started to study the pool rules and started reading rule books and everything, and just kind of became someone who people learned that they could go to, who would be able to either tell them the rule or show them where they could find it.
And I mean,
and I did a lot when I was with the government as well, Lenny. I did a lot of public speaking, and I did some instructing too, which kind of put me at ease in front of an audience, and, you know, conducting player meetings or interviews or talking to people and stuff like that, and it just seemed to come pretty natural for me.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you do a fantastic job, so, you know, it was something that you're meant to do, you know?
Well, I kind of think so.
Yeah. You know,
it was, I guess it was my calling, and, you know, I'm not a great player, I'm a pretty good player, but I'm just thankful that God gave me a little talent for the game. I'm not a big athlete by any means, but at least there's something I can do pretty well.
That's funny. That's the good thing about pool, you know.
You can play it as long as you live. If you can see, you can play.
You look at Efren. I mean, he's still able to win these tournaments. Even Earl, you know. I mean, he's got.
Look at Parika.
These guys are
Parika's
still doing it.
62 or something.
Yeah. And Bustamani's not getting any younger.
Bustamani's
He's
close to
getting up
50.
there. Yeah. I mean, what other games can you do that in, you know?
Well, I don't know. Not many.
No.
But the other thing too is, the longer, and you've been around the game a long time too, and I'm not saying this just because this is my game and my sport, but I honestly believe that this is the most difficult game in the world.
Oh, yeah, it is.
To play at the top level.
Oh, it is.
And only those of us that have an appreciation for the type of players we see, I think, realize that.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's been a lot of comparisons to golf. And I think that is a good analogy in some ways. You basically, in golf, you don't have an opponent, it's the course. In pool, you really don't have an opponent, it's the table.
Yeah.
And you're hitting a stationary ball with a stick.
Yeah.
Your margin for error is so small. And if you make a mistake, you usually pay a very heavy price.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like you look at like something like bowling. You each have that equal opportunity. There's no equal. Yeah. Yeah, that works. That's what I mean. This is not an equal opportunity game. You gotta.
Not by any means. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Meanwhile, we've got a match here between two of the fastest rising stars in our game, Brandon and John here, both in their mid-20s, I believe, and I think obviously we're going to see a lot of these guys for a long, long time, and this is kind of like the future of our sport. People like this, people like Shane and a lot of young up-and-coming players, guys like Landon Shuff and those type of young people that are really starting to embrace this game and not only play it with a degree of respect, but show the respect to the sport that it really does deserve.
That's true. That's true. Oh, it looks like Morra's going to go up 2-0 if he can get out here. I guess the 9 goes on the side unless he's going to take this tough cut up in the corner. He's looking at it now.
Thank you, Freezer.
Well, Morra's going to go up 2-0 here.
Well, Brandon's just coming off a really difficult and excruciating back and forth hill match with Jeremy, and
Jeremy's a pretty solid player. Him and Bustamante.
Jeremy is another one of those players in that same category, up and coming, and he's from Connecticut, I believe. Very well schooled, very well disciplined. Played a great match last night with Bustamante.
Oh, yeah,
he's the only guy that took Bustamante to the hill all week.
Yeah.
And believe me, Busty was happy to escape with that one last night. It really could have gone either way. But Jeremy was 6-3 or 7-4 down, I believe, in that match.
Yeah,
and
he
brought
was
it back
way
to
down.
the hill, showed a lot of heart. And Brandon here is just recently returned from representing the USA in the World 8-Ball Championships in Fujairah.
Wow.
And he was one of only 2 Americans in the field. The other was Hunter Lombardo. But like John, like Brandon, like Jeremy, these are the type of people that I will do anything in my power to help promote them, the game, because they're genuine. They're people that are willing to give rather than take. And they are wonderful around people. You never see outbursts or unsportsmanlike behavior from these guys.
Yeah. They're pretty friendly, whenever I see Brandon or John, they're just nice guys,
Yeah.
And, I mean, the biggest thing is, don't get it wrong, everybody's got their own, it seems like in any kind of competitive sport or game, you have people with egos. But then you have some guys who are just nice guys. They play pool well, and then that's how it is. But they know that they're we're all we all do good things in our own ways, you know.
Well, I think all sports, the top echelon of athletes have that ego and have to have that ego because of exactly because of the confidence.
And power.
But it's also it's how you manage your ego and how you present it. You know, I mean, I think if you let your cue do your talking, your ego will just come right along with it. But if you let your ego do the talking, your cue better be able to back it up.
Yeah. Well, you know, you look at like somebody like Efren, who he seems like the exception to the rule. You know, he's very like humble and you know.
He's Mr. Everyman.
Yeah.
And you can say that almost about most Filipinos, but I would put Efren and Busti in that exact same category. I have never ever seen Francisco not only show any kind of disrespect to an opponent or the game or an official, but he's one of the most approachable, nice people that you'll ever want to meet in your life, and he doesn't have to let anybody know that he's a world champion. And I think a lot of that goes to just the culture itself and the upbringing, and we all know that a lot of the Filipinos come from maybe a little less fortunate background than others, and they had to work very, very hard to not only get the talent they have, but maybe make their way, onto the international stage. And
it's got to be a little bit, nerve-wracking. Imagine being, Jose Perica coming over here. You don't really know anybody, and then you're getting in action, and it's strange. It
takes a lot of courage to do that.
It's imagine being a great pool player and going across the world, and this is back, 40 years or more, and you're playing in a totally different country. You don't really speak the language, or it's got to be a little intimidating. Yeah, we're nearing about 500 viewers here.
Well,
creeping right up on it, which is pretty good numbers.
Great. John hooked himself on the 5. He's going to kick at it. Did not make it. See, the other thing, too, just to follow up on that, Lenny, and I think then we can maybe just go on to something else, but the Filipino players and a good number of the Europeans, but we'll focus on the Filipinos here.
Okay.
They never appear to show, for lack of a better expression, a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Where as much as maybe I'm not too proud to say this, there are certain American players that feel that just because of their talent, they should be catered to, or treated up on a pedestal a little bit more.
Yeah. And I noticed you treat pretty much all the players that played in this tournament with the same respect.
I will treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
You can't have any credibility as a director if you don't do that. I've got my favorites, Lenny, just like you do. I mean, there's guys here that I'm dying inside when I see them struggling or whatever, because I root so hard for them. And like this match here, I root just as hard for John as I would for Brandon, because I feel the same way about both of them. But I don't care if you're the top guy on the totem pole or the first guy that's on the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
You're going to get the same treatment from me, the same respect, the same fairness. because if you don't, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not representing the sport in the manner that I want it to be represented.
Yeah, it's like my, everybody knows I have my affiliation with Scott, but when I do commentary for matches, I don't pull for him, I don't say, oh, come on, Scott, I just keep it neutral and just let the, just hope to see a good match and good pull.
Sure.
That's all I want to see.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. What I don't like to see is people who root against someone because they maybe have had an issue with them or a dislike for them, or they just don't know them. Okay to root for your guy, but don't wish anything bad to happen to the other guy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's almost, I guess, an analogy to that would be a Mosconi Cup type situation where the audience, regardless of what side of the ocean they're on, applauds when the opposing side screws up.
Yeah.
As opposed to just sitting there respectfully, and then when your guy gets out of his chair, then you say, "All right, come on, let's go." But to roar with approval when
it's like Earl, when he plays in some places. I mean,
people,
he misses a shot and they are cheering. I mean, that's pretty rough.
And I think it's just as basic as, what we were all taught as kids. I mean, you treat others the way you want them to treat you.
Oh, yeah.
And no matter how you wind up doing that, you're going to get back exactly what you give.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. And in the end, you will,
It may not be right away, but eventually
it will come around.
It does. Mm-hmm. It does.
So.
And I think that's what allows us to sustain our positions in the industry, because we don't give people any reason not to want us around.
Yeah. That's most people that you just want to treat everybody with some respect, and that's all. Ain't nothing wrong with being a nice guy,
Yeah, Joss fan, you're correct. It is 2-1, John Morra. This is the fourth place match. The winner of this will play Raj Handal at 5 o'clock, or whenever that comes around when this is done. And then the winner of that, of course, will take a crack at Bustamante in the finals.
The winner of this match is guaranteed third place and $2,300.
That's right. But the big prize is getting to the finals because of the added qualifying spots in the U.S. Open 10 ball.
Yeah, that's going to be a great event.
Yeah. Well, that field is full already. It was full weeks ago. 96-player field.
Wow.
It's already filled, and I'm sure they've already got a waiting list of potential alternates. Sure. 2 years ago, the first time we did that event at the Riviera, the field was 128. But we had only 8 tables and 5 days to do it, and what happened was, and we were racing to 9, and what happened was we ran into severe time constraints with long matches, and we wound up having to give penalties for slow play and stuff like that. And the best solution was to reduce the field size rather than the races.
Yeah.
So Mark Griffin decided to drop to 96. Added a day to the event, added a 9th table, I think, so there's 8 tables and a stream table.
Yeah.
And it worked out very well last year. Everything went right on time. So now in 2013, the event's going to move to the Rio. This is the last year at the Riviera because the entire BCA Pro League's National 8-Ball Championships and these 2 U.S. Opens go to the Rio in 2013.
And a lot of people are excited about the move.
Yeah.
They've been talking about it.
And also the dates are changing because it's moving to July.
Okay.
And that's actually beneficial for a lot of the league players because it extends their league year a little bit and gives them an additional time to qualify for nationals. Plus, families can get away in July a lot easier than they can in the middle of May. It's still school time and
you're
all
right
of
about that.
So it's all very positive. We also are going to get even more space. So hopefully we might even be able to put, another 4, 6, 8, 10 tables in there and maybe get the field expanded again back to the 128.
Yeah.
So nothing but positive things happening down the road.
They're all giving you props there. BCAPL referee Rick is on here watching.
Brother Donner, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you next couple of weeks as well. And, Brother Boog.
Yeah.
I want to also thank you for your kind words. I really do appreciate that. And, actually, it's when guys like you that are out there watching this, I guess recognize the way I do treat people, then that's just reinforcement to me that I'm doing the job I'm supposed to do. And I welcome the feedback, whether it's positive or negative, because I never stop trying to learn, and I never stop trying to improve my job too.
Well, it's 2-1. Morra's leading here over Brandon, but he just missed an 8-ball.
Hello, Mr. Lee Brett. How you doing, my friend? And if my memory serves me correctly, Lee, congratulations on something you just won recently, a tournament you just took down. I wish I could remember what it was, but I did remember reading about that. So had a lot of fun with you at the bar box and Derby and all of that, and can't wait to see you in Vegas.
Yeah, I really had a good time last year, and for the U.S. Open One Pocket, because I really like One Pocket that game more than anything. But I just had a blast there.
Yeah, it was great.
Most likely I'm going to try to make it again this year, and maybe do the live scoring. I'll have to talk to Mark and see if he needs someone to do it. But I thought it was a lot of fun, and it's a nice room to be in. Everything's in that one room.
Right.
I like that, because
absolutely.
And for the fans, it's great because they can see all these different matches going around, all the players in that one room.
That's right.
And then they got that box seating up top. I think it's on second floor of it.
The skyboxes.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Grinder Bobby, the only thing that I can maybe see on maybe some upcoming changes, and it's some stuff I think you're already sort of aware of, is starting this year with the new Southern Classic in Tunica, essentially a second Derby, and with the long-range plans, I think, from Greg to try to get to 3 or 4 of those a year, and almost even... Thanks, Scott. Almost even, make it sort of a tour where there's these, 4 events, and then eventually maybe leading to some type of a playoff situation or something like that. I don't really know all the details.
Looks like Morra's going to get out.
Spanky, you don't have to say sorry. I trade me for Michaela, too, in a heartbeat. But I'll tell you this, just speaking of Michaela, I was very, very honored this year to have been chosen a ref at the Moscone Cup this past December. It was a dream of mine for many, many years, and finally got the opportunity, and Matchroom called me up, and it was my first chance to work with Michaela. And let me tell you, in addition to her being, as beautiful as she is on camera, she's every bit as beautiful on the inside. Just an absolute wonderful, charming woman. Treated me fabulously, as did everybody from Matchroom and from Sky Sports. Basically gave me the same respect that I gave her, and looking forward to working with her again in the future. Kind of got a good indication they're going to have me back there in 2013, and I'm hoping maybe a chance to get over to London in December this year. That may be a financial consideration for them, but we'll see.
Yeah,
but,
that'd be a nice trip.
Right? Yeah. But probably that's in the top two or three highlights of my pool career was the Moscone Cup. There were three things I always wanted to do, Lenny, once I got to the point of, being sort of visible, etc. I wanted to be a tournament director at the U.S. Open, and I got that opportunity 6 or 7 years ago, and I've been doing that ever since. I wanted to referee a world championship, and I got the opportunity in 2008 to go to the Philippines and ref the first World 10-ball championship.
Wow.
And the third of that would be to have worked the Moscone Cup. So I finally achieved that goal this year, and now all I want to do is do it all over again.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, 3-2 John Morra here in a race to 8 at the 2012 West Coast Challenge, coming to you live from the California Billiard Club and streaming courtesy of On the Rail TV, and Fast Lenny sitting next to me here. Worked his little butt off all week.
Who does the winner of this face?
Winner what?
Who do they face?
Raj.
Raj and
Right,
okay.
Boosty beat Raj, so Raj is now guaranteed third.
Yeah.
And he is going to play the winner of this in the left side hot seat match to go to the final. And
I see him over there practicing.
Sure, Raj wants another crack at Boosty. I mean, Raj was up 5-2 in that match and lost 8-5.
Yeah, Raj was saying he gift wrapped it. He just, but Bustamante,
I tell you, it was a mistake-filled match. It really was, and both guys probably played about as bad as you'd ever see them. I told Boosty outside, I said, you made more mistakes in that match than you've made in 2 years.
Yeah.
And same with Raj. But what won Boosty the match was his defense and his safety game. When he was 5-2 down, Raj didn't shoot at a ball in the hole for 4 or 5 games. He was kicking or jumping until it was 5-5 or even 6-5 Boosty. Yeah, and Raj played great safes too, and Boosty was able to get out of every one of them.
Yeah. I mean, in a safety battle, I'd have to like Boosty there, Yeah, I mean, you got to like Boosty if it gets into a safety battle. That's for sure.
And just real briefly, for those of you that may not be all that familiar with Brandon Shuff, he is from Richmond, Virginia. And he is sponsored by Diamond Billiards out of Midlothian, Virginia. He's a 2-time Virginia State 9-ball champion. He's a former Maryland State bar table champion, Maryland State one-pocket champion. In 2010, he came in second at Derby in the Fat Boy Challenge, and that's a 16-player field of killers.
Yeah, all great players.
So, and as I said, he also was a former winner of the National Championship Series 8-ball event, which was what qualified him to go to the World 8-ball this year. But you're going to see Brandon Shuff for a long, long time.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of years ahead of him. Both of these guys are going to be around for a while. Well, we're at 3-2. Morra's leading in this race to 8, and it's these are tough conditions here. What are they, about 4-inch pockets?
These are 4s, yeah. Actually,
humidity now.
I think they're playing tougher today than they've played all week.
Yeah,
it's a little warmer today here than it has been all week. It was warm overnight. When we came in here this morning, I don't know if you felt it, but it was pretty sticky in here.
Yeah.
And once the air got cranked up, it helped a little bit. It's not uncomfortable in here at all, but the tables are playing tougher and they're breaking tougher. And actually, the other stream table is playing tougher than this one.
Yeah.
And it's funny because after the match, Boosty asked, where are we going to play the final? And I told him it's going to be over on the other table. And he says, well, can't you move it to the other one? There's not much difference, but maybe just a little.
It's subtle.
But
it's a subtle difference.
I saw balls in that match hit perfectly at pocket speed that just didn't go because they just hit just the wrong spot by maybe a 1/16 of an inch.
Yeah.
But I do think I don't want to see pool played on such tough equipment that the best in the world struggle. But it's certainly, you wouldn't want to see pro golfers play on a 5,200-yard golf course either.
Yeah, that's true.
So I kind of like it when the table is challenging, but not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I think these conditions are, they test some of these players because some of these players aren't really used to, tight pockets playing on gold crowns like this. On the West Coast, this is the norm. These tables are the norm.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of one pocket played on the East Coast. It's a straight pool, 9-ball area.
When I lived in New York,
part.
all the tables are 4.5 inch or bigger.
Right.
I mean, every place I went. So.
And I'm from Boston. I mean, I'm born and raised in New England. I've been in California 30 years, but I grew up. I learned to play pool in the East. I learned as a straight pool player.
Yeah.
And actually, straight pool is not supposed to be played on difficult pockets.
No.
I think I even think 4.5-inch pockets are almost a little too strict for straight pool. 4 3/4 is pretty good. 4.5s, if a Brunswick with 4.5s is a lot easier than a diamond with 4.5s.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But you're not going to see big runs on tight equipment in straight pool.
Well, Morra's breaking here. Let's see how he's been doing. These guys all, at this point, they all break, solid, super solid. Breaks dry.
Yeah.
It's tough,
One thing that's very interesting, and maybe we can point it out next time John breaks, or he's at the table where you're facing him and you can see him down on the shot. He is. You'll notice that he's right-handed.
Yeah.
And his cue is under his left eye.
His left eye dominant.
Very, very much so left eye.
Yeah.
So obviously he's left eye dominant for a right-handed player. It's very, very unusual.
Well,
where most players are either going to be on their dominant eye, right-handed if you're that, or right under your chin.
It's like Scott with Scott. He's right-handed and everything else, but he plays left-handed. Isn't that's just so strange to me,
Yeah. You know who else is like that? Sean Putnam.
Wow.
He does nothing right-handed but play pool.
Wow.
There's a couple of others too. They'll come to mind. Now, just on the opposite side of this, and I wouldn't bet the farm on this one, but I think Allison Fisher is left-handed and plays pool right-handed, because I think I've seen her sign autographs left-handed, and I may be wrong.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this one, guys. Someone's going to have to dig something up somewhere on that. But I just find it unusual that you would do everything one way. Now, I'm left-handed. I can't do anything right-handed.
Yeah.
I eat left-handed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just I'm just so dominant that way. But it's like even a baseball player who throws right-handed but can only bat left-handed. I mean, it just seems out of the ordinary. But obviously, it works for Scott, and it works for Sean Putnam.
Somebody said Mike Siegel.
Yeah, that's right. Siegel is right-handed except for pool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Thank you, Big Dennis. Lee, that's an interesting comment. Lee Brett was saying that, he was born left-handed and then converted. My father was born left-handed and converted as well. But that was back in the early part of the last century, where that was the norm, really. But anyway, we're getting away from what we really want to be talking about here, which is this important match. So we're sorry if we've gotten carried away. Actually, it's the first time Lenny and I have had a chance to sit and chat most of the week, and a chance for me to chat with you guys out there too.
Yeah.
Rick, I didn't know you were left eye dominant. That's interesting.
Did you see that ball hanging out?
Yeah.
Look at how close that is to falling in. That's unusual for a side pocket of a gold crown to sit.
Yeah,
like
on
that.
a side pocket.
Yeah.
He did that on the 2 ball down in the corner 2 or 3 games ago. A little thin cut. He just rolled it in there, but did it get a rail? I didn't even see.
Yeah, it just caught the point and just rolled, just kind of sat there. Well, Brennan's happy to be back at the table. He has a chance to, Morra could have been up 5-2 here, Big swing.
Well, the swing in something like that, to me, is about a 2.5 game swing.
Yeah.
The one you didn't win, the one he won, and now he's breaking, which gives him the advantage anyway.
Yes, you're right. Well, Ken's got to go call a hit, so you're going to see him on your screen pretty soon. Ken's launching the hit. And I think you're going to see Brandon go thin off the 5 and try to get his cue ball down by the 10. That's the only shot that I really see here. Hit it kind of full with some right hand spin. Go to the rail, spin down below the 10 ball. That's the only thing I can think of. Well, maybe he's going to go off the 5 this way and behind the 6. I don't think he's trying to really cut this in, is he? I would play safe here, but it's Brandon Shuff. I'm just fast Lenny. I don't know nothing. And I see 2 safeties here that look pretty good, Oh, nice hit. And it's John shot. Well, welcome back, Ken.
Brandon was in a real tough spot there. Cue ball was maybe an 1/8 inch off the object ball. And, you got to factor in spin, throw, speed, and not double hit the cue ball. I mean, it was a really difficult shot.
Oh, yeah. Definitely was. Oh, boy.
See that?
That's such a tough shot on this table.
Yeah.
Boy.
And he didn't pound it.
No.
He didn't pound it.
He hit it with a nice smooth stroke,
Yeah.
It's just tough conditions. Wow, he hit that ball pretty good.
You can bend that cue ball like that. This is the red circle cue ball. He couldn't have done that with a measle ball. He'd have had to come around 3 rails the other way. Yeah. Matter of fact, it's funny when I just went there to watch the shot, Brandon made a comment to me. He said, "I think we got a light cue ball here." Now, not that it's different than they've been using, but all the cue balls here, I don't think are all identical in weight.
Yeah.
And we've switched a few out already for guys. And I told Brandon, I said, if you and John agree you want to switch the cue ball after the round, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But Brandon said, no, I don't even think I want to ask him. We'll just play with this. But, if players agree on something like that, I'll do everything I can to honor their wishes, as long as it doesn't change the playing field or anything.
Yeah, as long as it's equal, and both players agree. You're right. It's like we had a situation come up with where I think it was Morra forgot to spot a 10 ball.
Oh, with Raphael.
That was pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of
Well, we'll tell the people after this game. We'll tell the
Yeah.
people what happened because
Oh,
that was a
wow.
pretty
Look at
interesting
this. See the ball
situation.
just hit there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
He didn't hit it
he
bad.
didn't hit it. Yeah, but he didn't hit it clean.
Yeah, yeah.
He caught it. He caught a little too much of the ball going in.
And do you think some of the players' styles are favored on this table over others? You know, somebody who maybe is more of an aggressive player.
I don't know. If anything, I think the equipment here actually does not favor the power stroker. I think it
Yeah.
favors the finesse player
Yeah.
with the smooth stroke, a guy like John, or even Boosty. Now, Boosty's a power player, but he's mostly smooth,
He's got
you
a
know?
nice touch. You know?
Right, he's a control
Yeah.
player. Efren's not a power player, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But a guy, a guy like, Scotty Frost or, the big stroke.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. They can.
it's sometimes it's easier to adjust to use more power than it is to back off the power
That's
that
true.
you naturally
You're right.
have.
You're right. You know.
So John's up 5-2 now in a race to 8, and let's just briefly got an interesting situation that came up the other day between Raphael and Amar Kang. They're playing 10 ball, of course, and Amar breaks, and the 10 ball goes in on the break. Now by rule, it spots immediately, and Amar keeps shooting. Well, Amar never saw the 10 ball go in.
Yeah.
And probably, he looks at the table and the 9 ball's on the table, and he's so used to playing 9 ball.
Yeah.
And Raphael's sitting in his chair and he never sees it.
Yeah.
So Amar takes 2 or 3 shots and misses. Raphael comes up to the table, takes 1 or 2 shots and misses. And Tress Kane, who was sitting either here with you or right over
Yeah,
here,
was
he
commentating
noticed
with
it,
me. Yeah.
came and got me. I walk over to the table and I stopped Raphael in the middle of his stroke. I said, "Excuse me, guys,
Yeah.
we're playing 10 ball, aren't we?" "Yeah."
Yeah.
"Where's the 10?"
Yeah.
And they
yeah.
both looked like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
But I will say this, I want to give Amar some props here for this. Just wait till John breaks. I told him that the only thing we can do is replay the game. 4 or 5 shots have been taken. I can't spot the 10 ball now. The whole rack would be different, etc. I said, all you can do is replay the game. And Amar said, "Kenny, it was my fault that I didn't notice the 10 was down. It wasn't up to him. It was up to me. I didn't
Yeah.
do it. Even though I broke this game and you're telling me to re-break, I would like to pass the break to
Yeah,
Raphael." And I told Amar he didn't have to. He said he wanted to. I allowed it. Raphael accepted it. And they played on, and I don't know who won the game, but it was just, again, an interesting situation. But there was nothing we could do at that point.
Yeah, you could,
But stuff like that happens in the heat of the battle. You get so focused. I mean, you don't know that the game-winning ball isn't on the table.
yeah. Now, is there a written rule for that in the rule book?
Well, basically there is.
Yeah.
And it falls under restoration.
Okay.
Let's say Brandon's shooting and a spectator walks by, bumps his stick, and 3 balls get moved. Not his fault, no foul.
Yeah.
If the tournament officials can restore the balls to where they were,
Okay.
then they do and play on.
Yeah.
But if restoration, for whatever reason, is not feasible or
Okay.
possible, the game is replayed with the original breaker breaking.
Okay.
And that was essentially the Raphael Amar situation. I couldn't restore the position because I didn't know what the position was. So you have to replay.
Yeah, because, I've always wondered that because, like something like you said, like somebody bumped into you, sometimes in pool rooms it's tight quarters, and that does happen. It's rare, but it does. Bump somebody while they're down and it hits the balls, I don't know how that would work, obviously, if people are gambling in a pool room, but it'd be pretty interesting.
Someone asked who won the Boosty hot seat match. It was Boosty. He won 8-5 after being 5-2 down. So he's sitting in the hot seat waiting for one of these 3 guys, Raj, John, or Brandon. There's only 4 players left.
Yeah, and John, I guess his sponsor is CPA Pool League.
Yeah, Canadian Pool League,
Yeah.
and new sponsor I think he got last year, the Biz 24 Billiard Supply.
Yeah.
I don't know where in Canada they're from, but I would imagine it won't be too long before a lot more people are going to line up to want to sponsor this young man.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's seems like a really nice kid,
He's called this bank, by the way. And speaking of banks, John had a tremendous breakthrough performance in January at Derby City, winning the bank pool division. And his first really big major title. And I got a chance to spend some time with him after the match, and I mean, he was just so elated. I mean, I think he was as surprised as anybody.
Yeah.
But yet, it's incredible in just a couple of months how much more confidence he now has, because he went through 404 players.
Wow.
And he was the last man standing. Okay. At Derby City in bank pool country.
Yeah, it's just, and for not being known as a bank pool player,
right.
No real background in it.
No.
Just a natural talent,
Yeah, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with for quite some time.
His best pool's yet to be seen.
Yeah. He's a great bar table player too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys, with the seasoning, they're just going to continually improve. That's one thing that I noticed. It's like, it seems like they hit their prime in their late 20s, early 30s, a lot of pool players, I think, right? Is that, I mean...
Well, I think it depends on when you start and, how much time you put in. It varies, but I really think, if you start playing as a teenager, as most players do, and you get to this type of a level, I think your best pool is probably between the ages of 30 and 45.
Okay.
Because by the age of 28 or 30, you can make all the shots.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're not afraid of anybody. It's the seasoning, the wisdom, the experience, the having been in the pressure situations.
Like we see with somebody like Bustamante.
Exactly.
That's what the difference is,
Exactly.
That's what I thought it was with him and Raj, the difference is the safety play and some of the really playing a percentage and shooting the right shots,
Well, when you're in a situation that doesn't make you uncomfortable because you've been in it before, even if you've been in it before and not done well, you have at least that experience to fall back on. It's like, Jesus, the last time I was in this position, I rushed myself, I got too excited, and I lost the match, or something like that. So I think it's the seasoning when we talk about, he's got the knowledge now, he knows how to play the game the right way. When to be aggressive, when not to, how to size up your opponent, how to deal with all the different types of equipment you play on throughout the world in different conditions and stuff like that. So that's why I think it takes a good 15, 20 years to reach that level mentally. Where the shot making, you're on, usually the younger guys are the straighter shooters.
You're right. Well, John's got a pretty tough shot up the rail here. And get position on the 9.
Watch how smooth he goes through the cue ball here. Now, he missed it bad, but he didn't jump up on it. He didn't, pop stroke it or anything. As a matter of fact, the guys we've been kidding John for quite a while. We got to find a nickname for you, and yeah, they're talking about the cue ball, the weight of the cue ball that we mentioned earlier, and I think
Yeah.
Brandon said, if you want to change it, and I think I overheard John say, look, this is what we've been playing with. Let's finish it, and that's okay too. It's the same ball for both guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, the best thing so far has come up with for John is Mr. Smooth,
Yeah.
and he sure is. I'll tell you, Bustamante yesterday, after his match with Jeremy Sassi, we were outside, and Boosty says, "Who does he remind you of, Kenny?" And I said, well, come on, you got to give me a little more than that. He says, "It's a European player who you know." So I thought for a while, and my first guess was wrong, and my second guess happened to be right. I said, Ralph Souquet. Not maybe yet, of course, ability or, credentials, but Jeremy Sassi's, his stance, his delivery, his pace, and Bustamante would know. And I think for him to make that kind of a comment was, very, very high praise for Jeremy.
Yeah. Jeremy Sassi, yesterday I said, do you want to give a shout out to any of your sponsors on the live stream? He sits there and is kind of like thinking for a couple seconds, and he goes, "No, just me." I'm like, okay.
I'm not sure if he has any formal sponsors.
No.
I know Jeff Conway out of New York, helps him out a lot and takes care of some things expense-wise for Jeremy, and they're good friends. And Jeff's a terrific guy, and I've known him a long time, and he does a lot for the industry in his role as a, commentator, a writer, kind of a ambassador for pool. So it's good association for both of them.
Well, it's 5-3 now.
Yeah, John let one get away there. That would have really would have tightened the noose up quite a bit on Brandon, but you just can't count anybody out in these matches until that last ball is down.
You're right. I mean, there's so many matches that I thought, we've had a lot of hill-ho matches on this table. I know that I've seen in the one pocket and the 10 ball where you counted the other guy out. I mean, look at the match with Scott and Schmidt. Scott owing 9 or 10.
Scott owed 9 balls.
And he had a chance to pull it off.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would have been something, that people, I mean, as memorable as it is, but to win, something that goes down in the history books, because I've never seen it. I don't know if you've ever seen that many fouls in a tournament match.
I never saw a guy owe 9 in a tournament. In a gambling match, maybe, but I never saw a guy who was down +2 to -9, and then he ran like 12 or something, and they spotted him all up.
Yeah.
And he actually should have won that game.
Yeah, he had his chances, and that's all you can hope for, right, at this level.
But see, now that just is an example of what we were talking about, Scott's seasoning, his experience. He knew, I'll take foul after foul. I can run as many balls, but it's the way for me to stay alive in this game.
Yeah.
He never got ahead of himself or just tried to make something happen that wasn't there.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it looks like Brandon's going to run this rack out. Isaac, you are correct. When you've spotted all the balls from the foot spot down the string and you're at the rail and you still have to spot more balls, then you start spotting them ahead of the spot towards the center of the table. Beat you to that one, Rick. BCAPL referee there, my very, very, very close friend Rick Donner mentioned the same thing, and he also made it more specific by saying you spot them on the long string. And for those of you that don't know that, the name of the line that goes between the foot spot and the foot rail is called the long string, and it actually extends the entire length of the table.
Well, Rick, I was thinking of it while you were typing it. Okay, well, things have tightened up here, too. It's now 5-4, and it's essentially an even match with Brandon having the break. Well, other than the 4-7, this looks pretty promising, and it's hard to tell, but the 4 may go in the pocket where the 1 ball is going to go. It looks like he's got a pretty nice way to get to the 2 ball here, just over towards behind the 10. Not.
He hit the 10, but he's still got a shot.
Yeah, it's just going to be harder to get shape on the 4 now. Unless he wants to try to get underneath it and maybe hook him on the 7.
I don't know if the 4-7 is sitting right or not either. He just went over to look at it.
Pro pool player, I can answer your question about why doesn't a referee rack the balls, and it's a very simple answer. Most tournaments don't have a referee at every table.
Yeah.
You just don't.
They can, cost-wise,
right.
And you might have to deal with volunteers.
Yeah, that's been tried.
It's not.
Actually, that was tried at the Ultimate 10 Ball that I did year before last.
Yeah.
It is nice to have a neutral racker, but just to take that one step further, a lot of times you'll find a tournament, and I'll use the U.S. Open 9 ball as the prime example because I've been doing that for so many years. Up to 2 years ago, when we'd get down to the final 4 players on the last day, 1 table only, TV table, etc., it used to be me or Jay or Scott or one of us would rack for the guys.
Yeah.
Well, 1 year, it was the year Corey and Darren played. That was the last year I racked for them.
Okay.
And we were using the Delta 13, and I mean, I just couldn't get them tight. It was just one of those days. And we probably added 20, 30 minutes to the match over the course of the whole match, just with racking difficulties.
Yeah.
So
that's not fun for anybody.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I think the thing that was even more important is you've played 6.5 days rack your own.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, someone else is coming in to rack. Yeah. I'm not saying it would, give either player an advantage, but you're changing the way the game has been played.
You're right.
Rack your own up to a certain point. So we actually did away with, any official racking at the U.S. Open. I mean, all the way right through the very last rack of the tournament, the players are still racking for themselves. Now, I wish that we had the luxury of having a referee at every table, at every tournament, to do that. And the last major tournaments that ever occurred on in this country was the IPT.
Yeah.
But at the IPT, we had a ref for every 4 tables, but it was Sardo rack.
Okay.
So it didn't take quite as long.
I don't see the Sardo rack in use anymore, really. Yeah.
Did you ask him if he wanted a... All right. Okay. Yeah. The cue ball.
$150 worth to play the game closing. You can draw that lucky number about 7 o'clock tonight.
Just to finish up on the Sardo rack question and why it's not much in use anymore, and it was the last time it was really used was IPT to my knowledge, and that was their 3rd version of it. That was like the M5000. They had like 3, and every time they came out with a newer version, it got lighter, easier to handle, and less expensive. When those things first came out, they were like almost $200.
Yeah, heavy, right?
The last one came out was $59, and it was very light plastic. But the reason that they really got away with it number one, the expense. You got 30 tables, you want to pay $60 a rack and bring those in, and then it's risk damage or theft. But what really, I think, and the Sardos also at that point just stopped. They did what they tried to do, was invent a device that would help pool, and they did for a while, and then they just went off onto other ventures. But the real issue was they called it, you had to, their term was train the table. You actually had to make indentations in the cloth to set the Sardo rack up for use.
Yeah, so it wasn't something you could just bring to
And
the forum.
if you were using tables, let's say at a tournament like the U.S. Open or something, and they used it there for a while where you'd have to do something to the tables, well, at the end of the event, the cloth would have to be changed before the owner or manufacturer could sell the table.
Wow.
So that was one issue. And then the cost, of course, and all the other stuff. But I applaud the effort. I think, today's version of the Sardo rack is the Magic rack.
Yeah.
And
they're
there's
cheap
there's plenty of there's
carry around.
Yeah. The best thing about the Magic rack to me is just the efficiency of it. It's quick and it works well the majority of the time. Funny, we'll get back to it in a minute after John shoots here. But I do have a little Magic rack story to tell you.
Let's see. He's got this one real quick. I think he called the 8 in the corner.
That's a good shot. Well, this is a pretty important game. I think we'll just see how this game pans out, and then I'll finish up this the Magic rack story.
I think he's going to keep him behind the 9 with a cue ball and put the 8 up a little bit.
Lenny, I like going behind the 10 better because I think you've got more room for the cue ball to get hidden.
Yeah.
And you can put a little better hit on the 8.
Okay.
Although your way, I'm afraid the 8's going to go too close to the side. Now he's looking your way.
Yeah.
But what he might do is just bump the 8 off the rail, bump the 8 off the rail about a foot, and the cue ball on the other side of the 9, where the 9 would be the impeding ball. Just bump the 8 to here, cue ball here. Now you have to control both balls.
Oh, wow.
But
he did your shot.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out for him.
Well, had he not hit the 9 with the 8, it would have worked,
Yeah.
But he had a much bigger margin for error going behind the 10.
Yeah, the 10's a bigger ball there, right? Well, it looks like he's going to end up getting out here. Used every bit of the pocket on that shot.
See how nice and smooth he is. Now you might get a good shot here of his left eye dominance. See how far his head is to the side? The cue is just under his left eye. You can see it even better on a break shot.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing, actually.
So 6 for John, 4 for Brandon in a race to 8. And real quick, finish up the Magic Rack story. Night before the Moscone Cup, Luke Riches from Matchroom came over to the Tar Studio. There was a match going on over there, and he got to talk to Mark Griffin a little bit. And Mark Griffin introduced him to the Magic Rack. Luke had never seen it, and did some samples and sample breaks and stuff. And Luke said, you know what? Okay, we'll try that at the Moscone Cup.
Yeah.
So, and Michaela had never seen it. Okay, I had, but anyway. We tried it the first day at the Moscone Cup, and anytime I'd ever used the Magic Rack before that, never had a problem with it. At the Moscone Cup, for some reason, it didn't do what it was supposed to do all the time. you could get the balls tight, but when you broke them, sometimes the magic rack would actually fly away and move and twist and all that. No, normally it just stays there. Even the balls stay on it. And at the end of the first day, the decision was made to cease using it, and we went back to the traditional triangle.
Yeah.
But Mark Griffin was very surprised, as I was, as were a lot of people, that it just didn't function properly. I don't know if it had anything to do with the heat from all the TV lights, maybe making it, the corners were coming up just a little bit, you know, or I really can't explain it other than it didn't function 100% of the time like we're used to. So anyway, but I think in certain situations, you know, it's got its place.
Yeah, I think it's really actually I think it's great. A lot of people say, "Oh, it makes the game too easy."
Well,
Make it
when we did use it at the Moscone, we were racking the 9-ball on the spot.
Yeah. So maybe that would be like the future of 9-ball if the magic rack's used is putting the 9 on the spot.
Well, you'd almost have to, but I'll tell you, it didn't take the players long to still figure out how to make the wing ball and the one on the side.
It's amazing, right? Figure it out quick. And at this level, I've seen a lot of players. They're practicing the break. You know, they all can make balls and stuff. It's whoever breaks best usually. And we haven't seen a lot of break and run downs, you know, on this equipment. I'll tell you that. I mean, you'd have to bet against, you know, people breaking and running a 3-pack on this kind of equipment.
Yeah.
10-ball.
Yeah. I mean, the equipment's playing tough. Yeah. They're breaking tough.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it's the break shot or just a regular pool shot, the balls aren't going to go in unless they're at the right speed and they're going in the right part of the pocket.
I'd be interested to know what the most that somebody's broken ran in this tournament. You know what I mean?
Actually, yesterday, let me remember, someone was playing Bryce.
Okay.
I want to say it was Bustamante, but I don't know. But it was a top player, and I believe there was a 5 or a 6-pack.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
but
impressive.
But it was over there on the back row of the tables. It was like table 7 or 9 or something over there. And it was a couple of days ago when it was probably 15 degrees cooler here as well. And the conditions were still pretty soft because we had just finished the 1 pocket. And, you know, the tables don't get beat up playing 1 pocket.
That's really impressive because most of the tables in here are pretty much all the same, I think. Yeah. That's what they said.
Yeah, there's no special TV lights here or anything for our stream tables. I mean, you know, it's. I think these 2 tables do play a little bit tougher, and maybe it's because there's a lot of people around it, and the humidity, all that stuff affects it. And of course, after all this heavy-duty play, even though the tables are cleaned, you know, there's still a lot of dust and chalk and oil and stuff embedded in the cloth, and stuff like that can affect the way the balls go in or don't go in.
Up now 7-4 on the hill.
John Morra is 1 game away from facing Raj Handal for the right to go to the championship.
Now, that will be starting pretty much right after this.
Well, it's scheduled for 5, and it's, you know, 5 minutes of 5 right now. I mean, this could go another half hour. You never know. But what we'll probably do is whoever wins here, we'll give them a 10, 12-minute timeout break. Yeah. Let them refresh themselves, and even if they want to take a few extra minutes to eat a power bar or something like that. We're pretty well close enough to our schedule where I don't want to force these players to not have a few minutes between. They did all their grinding yesterday. Back to back to back 5 rounds. See, those balls didn't open. He hit them square, but they didn't open. I mean, you could tell almost by this a tinny sound when it hit. Francisco, during his hot seat match with Raj, on 2 occasions, he racked his own. He smacked the living crap out of him, Lenny, and 4 balls stayed right in the cluster triangle area. I don't mean they went out and came back. They just stayed there. And he racked them, and we were talking after the match, and I said, Francisco, the only thing I can think of is after you racked them and you took the rack off, or you went up to the head of the table to break, the one might have rolled a little bit off. And if the
possible.
one isn't frozen to those 2 balls immediately behind it, then the transmission of the energy from the break to the cue ball doesn't get all the way into the rack, and you probably lose a third of your force.
Looks like Brandon's he's making a good effort here to get out because he needs to.
Well, I think what you're seeing right now, and I've seen this guy play enough to know, right now he's playing fast and loose now because the pressure isn't really on him now. At 7-4 down, he's not expected to win. I'm not saying he doesn't think he can.
No,
but he's just.
It's that time,
just getting up there and saying, "Hey, I'm on a free wheel. Let my stroke out. What's the worst that can happen? I lose a game and I'm done."
You guys
sometimes they call that, and maybe not so much in 10 ball or 9 ball, but like in one pocket. I mean, sometimes you get so far behind, and then the opponent puts you in such a difficult position,
forces you to shoot, right?
A shot you would never shoot, and it's like he's forcing you to win. You know.
Well, guys, we're going to be giving away a free T-shirt from PlayTheGameClothing.com right after this match is over. The only thing you have to do is be logged into the chat with your username, and I'm going to do a random drawing right after this match is over, so you guys all stay tuned in. If you don't have a username, you can go to Ustream.tv and sign up for one. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and you can chit-chat with everybody else. Well, 7-5. I mean, it's not like Shuff has never ran a 3-pack before, you know?
Well, he doesn't have to run 3 racks.
No.
What he's got to do is make sure
control,
when
right?
John goes to the table, he doesn't have anything offensive. Right. The thing he has to do here, he has to not scratch. He has to control the cue ball. No matter what, he has to control the cue ball. Beautiful. Give him a shot. That's it. Give him a shot.
The two kicked the 3 in for him, and he's got a shot on the 1, and it's an open rack.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that doesn't go. There's nothing. He really doesn't need to run the cue ball into another ball. I tell you, I think the key shot to this rack, Lenny, is this shot right here. It's getting on the 2, where you can go from the 4 to the 5 without any difficulty. Just don't want to run into anything. That's what I was afraid of. See, we were talking about a little while ago the seasoning and the experience. A player of Brandon's caliber really, even at this stage, should be able to look at a shot like the 1 and say, the only thing I can't do here is run into the 2. I've got to guard against that, even if I have to be 3 feet further away from the ball.
I agree. She's let it leak out, and Morra might be able to make this.
Well, even if he can't, he can surely hit it. So Brandon made 2 errors. He screwed up position on a run out, and then he didn't play a solid enough safety.
Yeah.
Now, if he can see this, I think he's just going to slow stroke this nice and smooth right in. Watch how he stays. Oh, that's not hard enough, is it? Is it? Is it?
Yeah,
Is
he
it?
got
It
there.
is.
He got
So
there.
you can do that stuff with this light cue ball.
Yeah, you can.
It's
you
a
can
lot
just float
easier.
it, you know?
Right, right.
But I think he's gonna jump here and hit the deuce.
He's
it looks
got
like.
to.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, should he make it, he's going to get a look at the 4-ball. We also have to see whether he calls it or not. Remember, it's a call ball and pocket game. I haven't seen him indicate he's playing it. We know he's jumping to hit it. But
Yeah.
should he jump it and make it, John
Yeah.
could say, did you call that?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not up to John to ask. I mean, he can if he wants to. I'd sure ask. See that? Ooh.
Yeah, he almost made it too.
Oh.
Hey, got the cue ball safe. I think John's gonna take a jump at it now. Huh?
He's got to. See now, just from a referee standpoint, had that ball gone in and John said, were you playing it?
Yeah,
What's Brandon going to say?
yeah,
You know? I mean, I assume he'd be honest and say, yeah, but because a jump shot's not an obvious shot in a call ball and pocket game, you've got
Yeah.
to call it.
yeah. You're right.
You've got to say 2 in the corner. Same thing here, but you know, obviously too, these two guys are gentlemen, and I don't think we'd have any real issues, but just to play it safe, they really should be communicating a little bit better.
Well, Brandon's got a shot here. He can close the gap a little more. Sit back and see if he can run it out. Oh boy.
Too fast.
Yeah, I agree.
Rushed it.
That's
I know-
unfortunate.
I know he's trying to stay loose. You know, he doesn't want to overthink things, especially at the stage of the match, but it did appear to me he was a little quick on that. I don't think he really focused on where he wanted the cue ball. It was like general position, and,
Yeah.
and his thought was on the cue ball, not on the object ball.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a pretty good save. I think he might be able to swerve around this and get the edge of the 5. It's not a full ball, so
I think he's got the edge of it without a swerve, but if he wants to get safe, he's got to get maybe an eighth of it.
I
I
don't.
don't-
You swerve around this or you jump it. Which is a
I'd
jump.
spin it. I'd
Yeah,
spin it. Try
I
to
kinda like
thin
that
it.
too.
Just move it over to the side and try to use these 3 balls here as blockers.
I like that shot too. That's what he did.
Uh-oh, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Oh, God.
See, to me, this is where it gets interesting, you know? We're getting down to the wire, and ain't nothing easy now.
Well, John Morra's on the hill. Brandon has 5. It's getting to be pretty tense out there right now. Okay, John has actually called this ball in the lower right-hand pocket. It's going to kick underneath the 9. Got to watch the point here, too. How they rolling?
Wow. Well, you see another jump shot.
Brandon just made a comment that he said, I deserve that. And he's referring to the fact that he missed an easy 5-ball, and that's what the result of his miss is now he's in a position where if he doesn't either make this or come out good, he's could be shaking hands pretty quick.
Wow.
Shot, Brandon. No luck. No luck, buddy.
Wow. That's unreal.
Don't do it. I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. See, that's the kind of thing that endears a guy like Brandon to me. He made a great shot, got screwed. He wasn't going to, whap his jump cue, but he wanted to, and I just said, don't do it, don't do it. And he looked at me, had this big grin on his face, I mean, to be able to do that and just come with a little smile and all that.
Yeah. And he's seething inside,
Sure.
He knows. Who wouldn't be disappointed,
Right.
I mean, you're at the end of the tournament, the match is close, your opponent's on the hill. This is...
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to deal with your emotions when stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
Really tough.
He's going for a jump shot again.
Yeah. But he's got to. But this baby, he's got to get up quick. He did point to the corner, lower left corner pocket. I was going to say it's going to be pretty tough to get that ball up that fast. Okay, John Morra has ball in hand. There are 5 balls on the table. Nothing's tied up. And if he gets out, he's going to play Raj for the right to go to the championship. I like laying the cue ball right here on the foot rail and then going all the way down to the nameplate for the 8. Dragging it and then playing it in the corner and dragging it down.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is getting the right. Getting a good shot.
It's just all about the angles.
Yeah.
Right? None of the balls are tough to make. It's all about the angle.
Yeah. As long as he gets good on the 9 ball. From the 8 to the 9. If he gets a little funky, funny things can happen.
Exactly.
See, he wanted to. That's why he removed that situation there.
That is the sign of an experienced pool player right there. Okay.
Because it was a little funky.
Yeah.
Could have got bad.
Yeah. Now from here, it looked to me like those balls were much further apart, but obviously he didn't want to risk that tight position from the 8 to the 9. The only thing that could have, really not much could have hurt him there, because even straight in on the 7, which he wound up on, was fine. So just got a middle of the table here. I think I can make these 2, Len.
Yeah.
I hate to see either guy lose, but John played better this match, and he deserves to win.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's been a pleasure, Ken. Thank you.
Lenny, thanks, man. It's been enjoyable as always.
I look forward to the next time I see you.
Look forward to the next time, and thanks everybody out there for being with us. We're gonna flip you back over here to POV 5 o'clock match, which will probably go about 5:20.
Yeah.
And then the finals after that. So
Yeah, that'd be John Morra and Raj.
John Morra and Raj for the right to go play Boosty in the finals. So thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Len.
Yep. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to do a free giveaway for playthegameclothing.com. So all of you guys who are logged into the chat, stay logged in. I'm about to do it right now. It's going to be a random number drawing. Corresponds with your alphabetical name in the chat. So yep, playthegameclothing.com. You go there, you get some good gear designed by a player, worn by players. So we got, it looks like, I got 3 moderators and I got 71 people logged in the chat. So 74 of you are eligible. I'm going to do a random number drawing right here. I do it on random.org. So it's 1 through 74 are numbers. Let's see what number comes up. And the number is 62. And I will tell you who that is just in a second. Southern MS-1, you have won a t-shirt from playthegameclothing.com. If you don't claim it, although, in the next 30 seconds by typing in the chat, I'm going to pass it on to someone else. So type it up in the chat. You guys are all welcome. Appreciate you tuning in. So that's Southern MS. If not, we're going to pass it on to somebody else. So you guys hang out in here because it might go to someone else if he's not here or if he's not listening. Well, I'm going to be passing along. I'm going to do another random draw. Time is up. Sorry, buddy. You had your chance. All right, the number is 33. Let's go here. Dougie F. Dougie F. You got it, buddy. Now, you got to Cook 26. There's like 70-something people. Dougie F, claim your t-shirt. If you don't claim it in 30 seconds, we pass it along to someone else. You got to type in the chat and acknowledge it. Otherwise, we're going to pass it along to someone else. Dougie F. All right, buddy. Congrats. Email me at lennymarshall@live.com. There it is, with your address, name, address, and shirt size. And I'm gonna have Frank Nordman with Play the Game Clothing send you one out. If you guys want to purchase one, you can go to playthegameclothing.com. I'm gonna run some sponsored commercials, and we'll be right back. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. If you want to contribute on the rail, the PayPal ID's in the chat header. And then also check out our sponsors. That's the best thing that you can do is check out ontherail.com sponsors. How are we looking? Already did it, buddy.
You did it? Okay.
Yep.
Who won it? Anybody I know?
Dougie F. No, you don't know him.
What? I don't know him?
No.
Is he on there now? Is he happy?
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. They love it. Everybody loves free stuff.
Okay. Something different.
Yeah. Hello?
Hi, baby.
I'll play a little Britney Spears for you. All right.
POV's doing the last two, so that's what's going on. You go to povpool.com and you can watch Raj Handal and John Morra. Yeah, in a little bit. So it's going to be John Morra, Raj Handal. It's going to be on povpool.com. The rest of the match will be there. I'm going to be shutting down. It's been a fun couple days of pool with you guys, and appreciate you all tuning in. Thanks for stopping by.
You shutting down right now? Or?
Yeah, I'm shutting down.
See you later, everybody. It's the freezer. Thanks for watching me dog it.
You had a good tournament, buddy. You did.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Bottle of water?
Dougie, I'm going to check it later on, and I'll forward it along to Frank Nordman. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting ready here to start our semi-final between Raj and John. If you'd like to watch, now we will come more over and get seated, so we don't do necessary distracting in place. Let's get underway. This is for the right